Deadly violence on the rise across the city of Peoria. The number of families affected also goes up.
In part two of our special report, Life After Death, John Schoenheider talked to leaders across the community to hear how they are working to make sure support is there.
Yolanda Wallace's son was shot to death 17 years ago.
I just couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I started having sharp pains.
Since then, she's channeled her grief helping others suffering violent tragedies. She wants to bring more attention to the widespread issue of deadly youth violence.
Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood recently declared homicide as the leading cause of death for African American men 15 to 34. Nationally, it's the third.
I think we're missing the mark to continue the long-term healing process that needs to happen here.
The city of Peoria is giving money to local groups who work with those living in neighborhoods overrun with gun violence. Mayor Rita Ali's 15-year-old great-nephew was killed in a shooting last November.
You feel devastated, and you feel, a loss of control to some degree.
This summer, Peoria City Council approved a $1.4 million anti-violence grant. Public schools, community centers, and volunteer groups are getting that money to better protect families with non-violent alternatives like truancy programs. But only a fraction of the organizations who applied for the money got the grants, and it's unclear how the recipients were chosen.
I'll tell you, the police can't do it, the city can't do it without the help of the community.
The Peoria Police Department is starting to bring mental health professionals to crime scenes.
What we are seeing is we're seeing more community buy-in, we're seeing an increase in community trust, people wanting the police officers there.
The department launched a co-responder pilot program last year. Data collected by criminal intelligence analyst Jacob Mouchon helps decide how many people need to go when different crimes happen.
It puts the availability of our officers to go now back into handling the crime that they are there, the high areas of crime, and it puts them back where they really need to be.
The program was passed with the help of Peoria State Representative Jahan Gordon Booth. She and her husband, Derek Booth, are no strangers to gun violence. Their son was killed in 2014.
When they came in and just shared with us that he was gone, it was, just like life paused. Just a moment you never forget.
5 years later, Booth headed up the Wraparound Center inside Treewood Middle School. It's a place where families can access services to help meet basic needs. It was also a breakthrough for Booth.
I remember going back in my office and thinking this was the first time I was able to talk about DJ without breaking down.
The Booths also worked with a hospital-backed mental health program called OSF Strive. Samantha Schubach is a supervisor and therapist there.
The sheer amount of people that are impacted by gun violence in the city of Peoria is just astronomical.
Strive offers free counseling resources to mostly juvenile victims of violence.
Grief is a roller coaster. It just goes up and down, and it will hit you at the most awkward or inconvenient of times to impact you.
Handling that grief goes beyond the clinical. Pastor Devereaux Hubbard presided over the funeral of every young man killed in this story. A longtime Peoria resident, he calls it an all too common occurrence.
I think there has been a narrative, there has been a script that has been accepted within our community of we don't snitch, we don't tell on others.
It's a script that leaders want people to move past and find healthier ways to recover from. The John Buckley Memorial Garden sits alongside the Peoria riverfront. Yolanda Wallace created it as a memorial not just to her son, but for others suffering from the murder of a loved one.
I'm very passionate about the survivors who are here, who are experiencing these new tragedies.
Wallace still volunteers across the area and has started a new job at District 150 in truancy. There are few people who know exactly what these families are experiencing. No matter how many programs or funds appear, it can't take back the deadly violence that's happened. It's a perpetual pain, but one that some have found purpose within.
If I could have John back today, I don't know if I would have created all this out of my pain.